I get asked all the time about my brows, how you do them, and whenever I go to do a glow up, I like to put brows. Now, they don't have to be as dramatic as I make mine. You can do light and natural with this technique, or you can do the full curated brow. But this is the technique that I use on my own brows and I use on everyone's brows to make the perfect frame for your face. Brows are so important, but that's another video. So I do have my brows microbladed, but on all of my clients who do not have them, which is the vast majority, I still build the brows the same way. So an essential staple for me is our Saint Etch brush, and I use that on everyone, and then I just use one of our Saint eyeshadows for the brows. This is the color that I like most for mine, just kind of a light, medium, soft brown. And here's what I do, and it's really easy. I take this etch brush and I kind of outline the brows. Now, sometimes with clients who don't have much and I want to shape a little bit, sometimes you kind of have to fake it in an area, or when I want to build up this point a little more, you can do that. You can fake it and just kind of draw the outline of what you want your brows to look like. So I take it along the bottom, I take it along the top, and then try to do that with the tail, although it's so thin that you're mostly filling it in. And without grabbing more eyeshadow or brow powder, I take what's left on the brush and kind of fill in the front just a little. Now, a trend nowadays that a lot of people like is to kind of leave this bare, the front, and just fill in beyond. That's not my preference, and so that's not the way I do my own brows. I just prefer this look. And then I just kind of lightly fill in a little bit. And some ladies tell me, well, I have a lot of brows and I even get them waxed, so I really don't think I need it. But it makes such a big difference to kind of chisel and define it. Even if you have great brows, at least defining the bottom line and giving it that sturdiness, it makes such a huge difference on a face. And my brows are microbladed, and the reason that I still fill them in is because they're ashy in color and a little kind of fuzzy on the outside where I don't have much hair naturally, and so they need to be filled in, and I love a curated brow. And so I just keep kind of darkening. I darken those lines a little bit, just keep building and designing the brow, and just fill in and darken when I need it. When it's a little too thin, I just kind of build up that area a little more. If you don't want the front to be too straight a line, you can barely kind of make some curvature there in the front by filling in this middle and just kind of building it outwards like that. And so I start by chiseling the bottom, just as if I were coloring or making like a little kid drawing, just building the outline. And then I do the top softly. And then the tail, I just kind of fill in a little as I go since it's already thin. Make my front line where I want my brow to end. And then if the line is too sharp, I just kind of go over that to kind of feather it a little and soften it. Kind of curve in with my brush strokes here so it's not too straight. If I get a little too fuzzy, I just go in with my finger to kind of blur that out. And you want to look to make sure this one's a little higher, this one's a little lower, so you just keep looking back and forth. They don't have to be identical twins, but they at least have to kind of work together. You don't want them being completely different. I don't like when there's too sharp of a corner here. And so I work on that curve. Sometimes I use my finger to kind of wipe that a little bit. And bringing out this front into a curve helps that a lot. And then I just kind of dab and dash at it and kind of fill into the darkness I want. You can keep kind of building and sculpting your brow if you want more of a point here. You're just kind of drawing. It's kind of like a shading drawing pencil, or kind of like you're starting with a marker to outline and then you just kind of brush and fill in. So it's super easy for my ladies who want a more light and natural look. I still define and outline the outside lightly. I don't use too dark of a color. And then I just barely, because even if you have great brows, they can be a little sparse in areas. And so I just barely will color in if I need to. Then if you get it too dark, especially for a light and natural look, I will take the spoolie of my line brush and kind of brush that color out. It softens it, it pulls the color and distributes it through the rest of your brow. And so it softens that up. And that's how I build my brow every single day. Easy peasy and quick and still soft and beautiful. Everyone needs to do a little something to their brows. It anchors your face, it makes everything pop, and it pulls everything together and looks more polished and makes all the difference in the world.